And what is going on, boys and girls? Back at it again. NFL playoffs this time. The regular season is over, and it is time to see who the champ will be this year. Got a few more games left, and we will know for sure. My Tennessee Titans, as you see, I'm a Titans fan, didn't make it. I don't even know what to say. It's just, it was a tough season. I had some ups and downs, and we ended up on a down. But Colts, great team, very deserving of a playoff spot this year. They've really, really worked hard to make that team as good as they are. Andrew Luck was good because they drafted well. They drafted offensive line. They got Frank Reich as coach. Great hire at coach. He's a good quarterback mind and offensive minded coach. That defense, the defense has been really good this year. One of the top defenses in the league, and that's really why they're in the playoffs right now. Darius Leonard, great story for defensive rookie of the year, maybe. Pretty sure he'll get it. It's between him, Derwin James, and Leighton Vander Esch. All three great rookies this year. They had great offensive rookies this year, and Baker Mayfield, I'm thinking, is going to get that. Saquon Barkley's another one that's been mentioned for that, but Baker Mayfield brought an 0-16 Browns team, not single-handedly, but before him they were 0-16. When he's there, they're 7-7 or 8. No, 7-8-1. So that's plus seven wins with Mayfield there. So that's my vote for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But for the playoffs, speaking of the Colts, Darius Leonard, he and his Colts will be going to Houston to start off the playoffs this Saturday, 4:35 p.m. on ABC or ESPN, I think, in some areas. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but where I saw it was ABC. So, but that's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a fun one, I think. Both teams are great defenses, I think. Interesting offenses, a little different style between the two. Houston's more like a I just went blank a little bit, but Deshaun Watson can get out. He can run with a little bit. Good dual threat quarterback. DeAndre Hopkins, stellar receiver. On the other side, the Colts, they have Andrew Luck, who people want to name him MVP this year, and there's some argument there, but I don't see him as MVP. I think he has had a great season, but I think it's because of all the parts there, and that's no problem there. If you got a whole team that makes your quarterback look like an MVP without actually being the most valuable player on the team, props to you. You've done your job. It's a team game. But the Colts, they got Andrew Luck, they got Marlon Mack, they got T.Y. Hilton. He's a little banged up, which is kind of why I'm a little hesitant to fully buy in with the Colts. He has been good even with injuries, so it's kind of worth a look. Colts defense is really great this year. Texans defense, J.J. Watt's on the squad. I'm pretty sure they're going to be good. That defensive line is really good, and linebackers have been good. Defensive back, I'm not entirely sure, but some of them, I think Jonathan Joseph has had a good year. We'll have to see how they do against the Colts. I think getting pressure to Andrew Luck is key, and that's really hard to do, as we've seen this year. But I'm going to go Texans on it. They're a 1.5 favorite. Home field advantage is kind of big, I'm thinking, this year. Especially looking at the home records of the teams. There's a few that only have one home loss this season. So I'm going to go with that logic, and I'm going to say Texans on that. But I think it's going to be a good game. It should be a good, tight game to start off the wild card round of the playoffs. Then we have number 5 seed Seahawks against the Cowboys, who's the 4 seed. It has Cowboys as 2-point favorites, and it starts 8:15 p.m. Eastern on Fox. I'm going Cowboys on that. Seattle has been a good team of staying in games this year, and really in games maybe they shouldn't have been, or they've also been in games where it was closer than it should have been. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of game this is. But the Cowboys defense has been pretty good this year. Leighton Vander Esch, that rookie linebacker, it's been pretty good. One of the top tacklers on the season, and he's a rookie. So it's looking good for the Cowboys, and they also have Jalen Smith, who's a good partner in crime for Leighton Vander Esch. The defensive line has been pretty good. Defensive backs have been getting better. I still feel like they need a really good defensive back. Maybe that's one piece that's missing on their defense. But on offense, they added Amari Cooper. That was huge. They needed a number one receiver. I thought at the beginning, I thought they sold a little too much to get him by giving up the first round pick. But I mean, he's working. If they can sign him and keep him with the Cowboys, it was a good deal in my book. Ezekiel Elliott, we all know, great running back. They keep feeding him. If they can get him to work, he should be good against the Seahawks. Cole Beasley's also, I mean, we saw last week that knee catch or whatever, the bee's knee. I've seen as a meme for that. But Dak Prescott, a lot of people give him they don't give him really much credit, and sometimes he doesn't deserve it. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I don't know that he's Russell Wilson yet. I think he can be, but I don't think. I mean, he's had a good team around him, and I think that's what's helped him. Offensive line that was good, and this year it's been some injuries, and he kind of struggled. But adding Amari Cooper, I think, was huge for him. Really made variety with the team there. But against the Seahawks, I feel like the Cowboys got this. They should win this one. 2-point favorite. I mean, it could be a tight game. I think a couple field goals maybe, or a touchdown difference. But yeah, I'm gonna go Cowboys on that one. But I do think it will be a good game. I'm just kind of go home field advantage. For the Sunday game, starting at 1:05 p.m. Eastern on CBS, we have the Chargers visiting the Ravens. And Chargers were like one win more, and they'd have been the 1 seed in the playoffs. But because they didn't win their division, they're the 5 seed, which kind of sucks. But I mean, that's the way it's got to be. I mean, I don't. You have to award division wins. I mean, because they play those teams twice a year. They're ready for those teams. If they can win those games and win their division, I mean, I think that's pretty good. There's only one division. I'm not going to mention it, but there's only one division where it's so dominated because the rest of the division is so much lower. But the rest of them, I mean, these are tough divisions pretty much year after year, and sometimes they'll have a team slip a little bit, but it's pretty tight. Like the AFC North has been a little rough this year, but I mean, it's tight. All of them are beating up on each other. And the Ravens came out on top of that barely, but they did. Chargers, on the other hand, they're a good team. They're tied for the first best in the AFC. That's pretty good in my book, and I'm going to pick the Chargers going into Baltimore. It has the Ravens as 2.5-point favorites. Ravens defense is pretty good this year, and the offense with Lamar Jackson has added an extra threat to him with being able to run the ball, and he's run the ball really well this year from the quarterback position. But Chargers, you got Phillip Rivers, the wily veteran. You got Lamar Jackson on the other side. He's a rookie. I mean, so we'll have to see how that plays out. As far as experience versus a rookie. But I'm gonna go Chargers on it. I think Phillip Rivers and the Chargers will get it done. It'll be interesting to see. I think it could be a good game. Ravens are a tough team. Their defense is one of the top defenses. So I mean, it could be low scoring. But I'm gonna go Chargers on that. I feel enough confidence in that one. Then we have the 6 seed Eagles against the 3 seed Bears. This one, it has Bears as 6-point favorite. I like the Bears in this. I'm going to pick the Bears, but I think the Eagles are definitely not one to sleep on, and especially after last year where they won the Super Bowl, kind of the same way they got in this year. They just barely got in at the end with Nick Foles as the quarterback. They went and won a Super Bowl last year. So I think most teams are aware this year, and they're not going to be surprised by Nick Foles. Bears defense is huge. I mean, that we talk about the Ravens defense, but the Bears defense is they're the monsters. They're the monsters of the Midway, and I think they will take the Eagles down. The problem with the Bears, I'm not completely sure about the offense. They're a good run team. They're good at managing the clock, I think, just getting enough to keep the clock rolling, keep possession. and I think that'll be key against the Eagles. They play at 4:40 Eastern time on NBC Sunday evening, that's going to be the last game of the wild card round to see where everybody goes. I believe if the Bears win, they would play the 2 seed, which would be the Rams. And Bears and Rams, that could be a tough one. That's 2 great defenses, but the Rams also have a pretty good offense too. So that'll be an interesting one for next week if the Bears can beat the Eagles. I'll just go through the rest of these. Texans win, they would play the Patriots in the second round. If the Colts win, they would play the Chiefs. If the Cowboys win, they would play let's see, I'm trying to do math here. See, if the Cowboys would win, they could play the 1 seed, which is the Saints. The Cowboys could play the Saints if the Bears win, and they win. Otherwise, they would play the Rams, I guess. Lord, I can't do math, guys. But anyway, Chargers and Ravens, I mean, whoever they go on, I'd like to see either one of those do well in this playoffs. I'm not a Patriots fan, so I'm probably not going to root for the Patriots. I'm not an Eagles fan, so I'm probably not going to root for the Eagles. But the rest of these teams in here, I mean, they're really good teams. And they're not, the same old teams we've been used to. I mean, we're used to seeing the Patriots in there. We're used to seeing, we're kind of used to seeing the Seahawks, I guess, the past 5-10 years here. And the Ravens usually they somehow get in wild card or division. But for the most part, I mean, it's going to be a new guy, probably, or at least one that hasn't won in a while. Go and get the Super Bowl this year. It can be. Saints, Rams, I think, are the top NFC. I mean, they're the top 2 seeds. I kind of want to throw the Bears in there just for their defense and their ability to manage the game. AFC, I think Chiefs, Chargers, I'd like to see, but I feel more comfortable with the Chiefs, and the Patriots, of course, are always somehow they find a way in the playoffs. But I feel strongest AFC wise, maybe the Texans. I think the Colts, if they get by the Texans, they could be a good threat in the playoffs because of their defense, and their offense is getting better and better and better. But it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope a good team wins. The one that I don't like doesn't win. That would be great. But my team's not really in it, so I'm going to have to just be, I guess, happy whatever way. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. And I will probably, I'm planning on doing picks next week. See how it goes. Whatever I can, if I have time to work out a video for you guys. And but I'm looking forward to it. And I'll make my Super Bowl pick when that time comes as well. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good new year, a good start to it, and enjoy the playoffs. And I will see you for the next round of the playoffs. See ya.